This is the one you've known as Jesus the Christ. What is heaven, you may ask? The kingdom of heaven is within you, tells you everything you need to know and can know about heaven. In being within you, this kingdom is unlike the kingdoms of nature and of humankind, which are clearly outside of you. Then why call this a kingdom at all? This inner kingdom is the kingdom of God, where God resides. God resides within you. Heaven resides within you. Heaven is not a place you go to after you die, but a state of consciousness that is accessed by going within. Heaven is a state of mind, a state similar to the mind of God, the essence of God. This state of consciousness that is heaven is a reflection of God's consciousness. All of creation is an expression of God's consciousness. But creation is even more than that, since God also resides within creation. Although an artist is separate from what he or she creates, God is not separate from creation. God lives and expresses through creation. God expresses his/her consciousness through creation, and this consciousness is within creation. However, the consciousness of God can only be reflected upon and explored by those creations that are self-aware and self-reflective, like yourselves. Human beings are special, since they're able to know and ponder this great mystery behind creation. But being human also entails an ego, which blocks this realization. You are challenged in the discovery of your true nature by programming that makes you believe that you are other than God. This is as it's meant to be, as you were designed, but nonetheless a great hindrance to self-realization. To discover the consciousness that is of God, you must be willing to go within. By going within, I don't mean exploring your thoughts and emotions, although there's a place for that. Exploring your thoughts and emotions will only help you understand the false ideas that make up the false self, not understand your divine self. Going within means going to the realm that is beyond thoughts and feelings, and even sensations, to the realm of the heart. This is why many spiritual teachings have encouraged meditation and disparaged the sensual and material pleasures of life, which tend to keep people focused on the outer kingdom rather than the inner kingdom. However, once you've discovered the inner kingdom, then the outer kingdom, the world, becomes that much more precious and beautiful and intensely enjoyable. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all else will be added unto you. True pleasure and enjoyment of the world is only possible once you've experienced and come to know the inner kingdom, the consciousness that is of God. What is this consciousness like? I've spoken of it often. It is the consciousness of love, joy, acceptance, compassion, gratitude, and peace. It is the consciousness that embraces all and pushes nothing aside. It is the consciousness that loves life unconditionally. Most simply, it is the consciousness of love. Whenever you're in a state of love, you are experiencing the consciousness of God. When you stay there in love long enough, you drop into the experience of loving everything. Loving anything or anyone is a doorway into unconditional love for all. This is why the love for a child or a pet can be such an important and powerful experience for human beings. Love for them gives you a taste of unconditional love. The unconditional love you experience most easily for your children, for pets, and for other loved ones is a doorway that can open to loving all that is and to a great love and appreciation of life. However, If you move into egoic consciousness after feeling love for your child or pet or loved one, you will again perceive separation between you and others. They will seem like a challenge, perhaps to your loved ones or to something else that is dear to you. On the other hand, if you can remain focused on the experience of love in your heart and continue to look out at the world through that love, then you will perceive the world as God perceives it, as your divine self perceives it. Experiencing this is a matter of sustaining the experience of love while engaged in the world. This is something that must be practiced and is eventually achieved as you progress spiritually. As you spend more and more time in the consciousness of the divine through meditation or other spiritual practices, you begin to be able to retain this inner experience of love as you go about your day in the world. But first, you must get to know the inner experience of love intimately. You get to know this through meditation and other spiritual practices, which take you into the kingdom of heaven within. You get to know this kingdom, as with any kingdom, by spending time in it and exploring it, not with your mind, but with your heart, since the mind can't enter this kingdom. When I say that the mind can't enter the kingdom of heaven, I'm referring to the aspect of the mind that creates a sense of separation from life by thinking about itself as a separate entity. I'm this way. I like this. I had that experience. I want this. That's the aspect of the mind that cannot enter the kingdom of heaven, the egoic mind. It must be left behind. On the other hand, your intellect, the aspect of your mind that can reason and discriminate, is as accessible as ever in the kingdom of heaven. And wisdom is even more accessible there, since wisdom doesn't come from the mind, but from the heart. Without the separative aspect of the mind, or ego, your wisdom, which is delivered through the intuition, is much more accessible. Let me tell you about this inner kingdom. It isn't like the physical kingdom. Your 5 senses are not what you use to explore the inner kingdom. Instead, you use another set of senses, more subtle versions of the 5 senses, for this kingdom is not physical but subtle. Entering the kingdom of heaven is like entering a different world, one that operates beyond the law of physics. The kingdom of heaven, although subtle, is as real and even more real than your physical world, with its own rules and laws. In this inner kingdom, there is no ego to confuse you. There is only truth. I'm not saying that your mind's interpretations of this inner world are real and true, but that the experiences you have there are. Because the mind can't understand or interpret the inner kingdom accurately, nothing you say about it, if you can find any words at all, will be completely true. Although some spiritual teachers say that even the world is not real, as an experience, the world is real. Your thoughts about it surely are not real, but the experience of the world is real. Experience is real and trustworthy. It's your ideas and stories about your inner and outer experiences that are not real and trustworthy. All you need to know about the inner world is that it exists as a true and real experience, beyond or beneath your experience of the outer world. The mind diminishes and dismisses the experience of the inner world as nothing, but then you're left with only your ideas and stories about the outer world, which is not the real experience of the outer world either. Getting to know the inner world reveals the truth about the outer world, which is, to a great extent, the value of getting to know the inner world. Once you know the inner world, you will rejoice in the world rather than be unhappy or frustrated with it. The inner world unlocks the beauty and preciousness of the world. It shows you the truth about it, so that you can enjoy it, so that you can be truly happy within the world. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all else will be added unto you. Get to know the kingdom of heaven, and you will be happy. Do this, and you'll be a blessing to all. You get to know the inner world with your subtle senses, or what's often called the sixth sense, or extrasensory perception, meaning perception beyond the five senses. This is why exploring the inner realm usually requires closing your eyes and being in a room where your senses are not being stimulated or excited. Then it's possible to drop into your subtle senses and notice what else is here beside your thoughts and the sights and sounds and sensations brought to you by your five senses. Once you're no longer attending to thoughts, feelings, or input from the five senses, the inner world opens up to you. It has always been there beneath all the thoughts, desires, feelings, sounds, sights, sensations, and other distractions of the physical world. Then it's just a matter of following this subtle experience with your attention, your awareness, simply noticing what's going on subtle levels within your being, within the kingdom of heaven, without trying to interpret it, label it, or tell a story about it. Just let yourself have the experience you're having on subtle levels. There is no need to understand your experiences there, and most likely you won't be able to. You may receive a useful intuitive insight or understanding, but the experience of the subtle realm is itself the purpose of exploring the subtle realm. The experience of the subtle realm is enough. It enriches you on levels and in ways you cannot and need not put into words. Just let yourself have the experience of being in this subtle inner realm for a while. If you do this frequently enough, it will change how you are in life and in the world. Thank you for being here. Let us spend some time together now in this inner kingdom. I am with you always.